how to recognize the patterns, what are negative patterns, and how to recognize the negative patterns. And once the patterns are recognized, what to do with them. Pattern in some way is a limiting self-belief, is a negative self-belief, at least in this context. Whether that belief was imposed by somebody on you or you have wrongfully imagined it for yourself because of fear or just tamasic imagination. What is the biggest of all patterns? The biggest lie we tell ourselves, the biggest of all patterns, the mother of all patterns, is my wrongful identity of myself. That I believe, I think I am this limited body, this limited mind. And we live the rest of the life based on that limitation. That is the mother lode of all patterns. That's not reality. That's not the truth. That's not my truth. But somehow I have believed that. And my entire life, which is built of patterns on patterns on patterns, is built on this supreme most pattern. Basically, ego-driven life. That I think or I identify myself with the body-mind complex. And that ego will not be easily driven away. First of all, that ego cannot be driven by ego. भाई घर में कोई किराएदार आके बैठ गया, आपकी जमीन उसने हड़प कर ली है. If you want to get rid of it, you cannot consult it, ask for it, tell it to leave. If somebody wants to stay and has wrongfully or whatever taken over a portion of your life, of your real estate, whether it is physical real estate, mental real estate, emotional real estate, whatever life-based real estate. If somebody has taken control over an aspect of your life, can you ask the same entity, the same individual, or the same pattern, kindly leave? The pattern becomes stronger. We are the ones who have given permission to this pattern to run our life, to control our life, to influence our decision making and so forth. It is like Phyllis Crystal's circle of golden light. What does it do? It reclaims your inner space. The circle of golden light is there to give you the sense of your inner space, your boundary, your inner boundary, so that you can stay in your own boundary and not allow anyone or anything to embark or enter your own inner space. The problem is that we are good people. That is the problem. We must have seen in movies that the thief would want to hide under the guise of a policeman or a trusted politician. Even in Bhagavad Gita, that when Ashwathama had taken a determination, an oath, made a decision that he will kill the Pandavas, all the 5 Pandu brothers, before sunset. And if he fails, he will give up his life. Pandav brothers had made a decision to put Lord Krishna on the driving seat of their life. Pandu brothers had surrendered themselves to Lord Krishna. They depended on Lord Krishna for everything. Pandav brothers were perhaps the most formidable warriors ever walked on the planet Earth. Yet they depended not on their own abilities and prowess. They depended not on their own Rajpat, their money, their kingdom, and so forth. They depended not on various type of wealth they had: physical wealth, material wealth, relationship wealth, wealth of wisdom, wealth of goodness, wealth of name, fame, power, and spiritual wealth, and wealth of weapons, potent divine weapons. They didn't depend on that. What did they depend on it? Lord Krishna, the high sea. What was the need for Pandav brothers, who were the most powerful people who walked on the planet Earth, to depend on Lord Krishna? Why? They could achieve everything they wanted. They already, forget about achieve, they already had everything they wanted. So if they, the Pandav brothers, who were one of the most powerful humans or beings walked on the earth, if they can surrender and live their life dependent on Lord Krishna, why can't we mere mortals do that? Why can't we live the life? Oh, boy, everybody has a freedom. Everybody has a free will to surrender their will to the divine will. Everyone has a choice. Then why don't we choose what is the ultimate? Why don't we choose the path of the kings and the princes? Why are we living like begaris, like beggars, like ignorant people? Why? Patterns. I have given up my wisdom. I have given up the best choice that is available to me, that is dependent on the Lord Krishna within, on the high sea. I'm thinking myself, I'm this mere mortal. So when Ashwathama decided that he will kill Pandav brothers before sunset, and if he doesn't, he will give up his life. What did Lord Krishna do? First of all, Pandav brothers came to Lord Krishna. Says, Lord, our life is in danger. What did Krishna do? Lord Krishna said, do as I say, no more, no less. Don't question me. Do as I say. Follow me. Follow me. Lord Krishna said, follow me. We can also follow Lord Krishna, who has taken away that freedom from all people. We all have that choice to follow Lord Krishna or to not follow Lord Krishna. Choice is ours. He went to an angry sage. Perhaps he was Sage Durvasa. Not 100% sure. Possibly he was Sage Durvasa, who was known for his anger. People knew that if he got very angry, he could actually burn you with his vision and turn you into ashes. So people were very afraid of making him angry. So Lord Krishna went to him. And long story short, when the sage asked Krishna, why did he come? What can he do for him? And Krishna said, I have come to you for a favor. And Sage Durvasa said, since when the Lord of the universe needs to get a favor, there must be something in it. Sage Durvasa was very wise. Being angry, he was being himself. He played his role very well. Sage Durvasa, being himself, actually became critical in saving the Pandav brothers. How? Krishna says, do as I tell you to do. Dig a ditch right where you're sitting. Big ditch. So high that all the Pandav brothers can go in. All the 5 brothers can comfortably be inside that ditch. And then he asked the sage to cover that ditch with some leaves and twigs and branches and so forth to make some sort of a makeshift roof, breathable roof. Then he asked him to cover that with some dirt and then to take a seat on top of that makeshift, breathable roof. The basement of that roof was empty, hollow, and all the 5 Pandav brothers were seated there. When Ashwathama was looking for Arjuna and all the five Pandav brothers, he finally came to Sage Durvasa. He knew Sage Durvasa cannot lie. He will not lie. He is Durdarshi, he can see things in far. He surely will be able to tell me where the Pandav brothers are hiding. And Lord Krishna told Sage Durvasa that when Ashwatthama comes asking for where the Pandav brothers are, angrily tell Ashwatthama, they are right under my feet. Because Sage Durvasa did not want to lie. And Krishna also did not want Sage Durvasa to lie, but he created this situation. And Ashwatthama also had a bit of trouble there, that how can I get angry? He says, you can just pretend, because that is your nature. He says, okay. And Ashwatthama came. The angry sage did exactly what Krishna told him. And Ashwatthama got really scared. He's like, oh my God. He said, fine, I'm leaving. They're right under my feet. He says, obviously, nobody can be right under your feet. You're sitting on top of dirt. You're sitting on the ground. What could be underneath the ground? Nothing. So patterns in some way can hide like that in front of your eyes, under the very feet of what you trust. That's the inverse patterns can hide like that. The inverse patterns can hide in clear view, right under the surface of it. And the very thing that you need to reject, you end up guarding it for the rest of your life. And then you're afraid, because now your ego comes into picture. The pattern of all patterns comes into the picture, your ego self. Because now even that is, so what is going to guard the rest of the patterns? The mother of all patterns, which is your ego self, your Maya self. Only that can guard it, right? Because you've already caught the thief. Now who can save that thief? Only Daku can save that thief, na? The thief of thieves. Only that thief can protect the thief. So the pattern of all patterns can save, and only that pattern can save the pattern from being destroyed. So the pattern has been recognized. Oh, I was guarding or protecting the very thing which I should have rejected long time ago. So the fear takes in. Why fear? Because my ego self, my ultimate pattern comes into play. Because now my ego self is threatened. Oh, you think I made the wrong choice? No, I didn't make the wrong choice. I guarded this person. It was my mission. It was my duty. It was my dharma. And then now you're afraid. You are afraid to reject the pattern that you've guarded. It is very much like investments. Sometimes you invest money and you start losing money. And then you end up buying even more stock. That's called DCA, dollar cost averaging. You're like, okay, I'll reduce the overall cost by buying more of the same at a lower cost. Instead of rejecting the things you should have rejected, you're actually guarded even more. Because how could I have made the wrong choice? I don't want to be told that I bought the wrong stock at the wrong time. I will prove myself right by buying more and eventually selling it at profit. Eventually. Hoping everything will turn out just okay in the end. Just hoping. And that is the ultimate battle when you face your own ego. When you face the identity crisis right in front of you. When you have to deny the very self who you think you are. The ultimate battle, the ultimate Mahabharata in every heart. How can I fight the very thing I guarded, protected. Arjuna was also, in some way, perhaps facing that in the battlefield of Mahabharata. He gave up his weapons. He says, what is the point of fighting this fight? I respected, learned, and guarded these kith and kin and teachers, and you're asking me to fight bury these people? I much rather give up my life than fight them. And what is the point of winning over it? So perhaps that's the ultimate innermost battle, where you are face to face with this false identity of yourself, the pattern of all patterns, both negative and positive patterns.